Hi, my name is Aimee Shea and I'm nutrition faculty with the College of Nursing. And in this video, we're going to talk about why nutrition is important. So first I want to start with discussing the Mediterranean diet. As you can see on this slide, the Mediterranean diet includes 9 nutritious food groups. And each row on the tables on this slide signify 1 point in the Mediterranean diet score. So if you do everything listed in these rows, that's a 9-point score for your Mediterranean diet. And studies have shown that a 2-point improvement in Mediterranean diet score confers a 25% reduction in death from all causes, including heart disease and cancer. So let's look at each item individually. The first group is vegetables. You can see we're aiming for 2 to 3 cups of vegetables per day. Each additional serving of vegetables that you add reduces the risk of heart disease by 4%. And I want to suggest that you focus on what vegetables you do like and work on adding those into your diet. It's always a great idea to try new things, but focus on the ones you already know that you like. And you can see some examples on the slides. Dark greens, carrots, squashes, peppers, really whatever fits best into your diet. The next line is legumes. This is just another word for beans. So you can choose lentils, beans, peas, also peanuts and peanut butter fall under this category. And remember that chickpeas are a bean and they are what's found in hummus. So that would count under this category too if you like to have hummus. So you can see the goal is 2 cups per week. So that's not a lot. I think it's easy to sneak that in. The third item in the table is fruits and nuts. So these are actually grouped together. And the goal is 1 to 3 servings per day. You could easily meet this amount by just having an apple with a handful of nuts for a snack. That would be a great way to get your point for this column. Remember to choose whole fruit instead of fruit juice because you're going to get a lot more nutrients and fiber, which help to improve satiety, meaning you're going to stay full longer. And when it comes to nuts, try to choose lightly salted or less salt on the nuts. You could also choose roasted unsalted nuts, which have a lot of great flavor without all the extra salt. Fourth on the list are cereals and whole grains. We're going to aim for about 2 to 3 servings per day. And what you want to do is look for the word whole on the label. If it just says wheat, if it doesn't say whole, it's not a whole grain. So look for the word whole. Other ideas would be things like brown or wild rice. Popcorn or corn is a whole grain. Quinoa is another awesome, delicious option. So there's a lot of different choices. You can try whole wheat breads, whole wheat pastas, just see what you like best. Fifth on the list is fish or seafood. And so we want to aim for about 2 servings per week. Again, make sure you're paying attention to whether we're talking about per day or per week. So 2 servings per week for seafood. Fatty fish is going to have higher amounts of omega-3 fats, which are the heart-healthy fats that also improve your mood and have brain-boosting effects. So you can see on the slide some different options. Don't forget about canned salmon and canned tuna as a really easy option when you're trying to incorporate seafood. Number 6 is oils and fats. And what you want to focus on here is choosing plant-based fats instead of animal fats. So one of the hallmarks of the Mediterranean diet is that it's very rich in olive oil. Olive oil is a great fat to choose, but you can also choose other plant fats like canola oil. But we really want to try to stay away from the animal fats like butter and also things like coconut oil. Number 7 is dairy. And the Mediterranean diet does not have a lot of dairy, but what they do recommend is about 8 ounces per day coming from fermented dairy. So that's yogurt and cheese. If you want to add additional milk, that's great too. It just goes beyond the Mediterranean diet. Number 8 is meat. And so for this one, we're trying to actually limit the amount of meat. So you want to aim for less than about 4 ounces per day of meat. You want to think about choosing leaner options like pork tenderloin, chicken breast, lean ground beef or ground turkey, and try to avoid processed meats like hot dogs, lunch meat or deli meat, and bacon. And then last on the list, number 9, is alcohol. And alcohol is traditionally a part of the Mediterranean diet, but it's really mostly consumed at meals. And that's important because consuming alcohol with food affects the absorption and metabolism of the alcohol. Remember that the goal, or not really the goal, but the guidelines are less than 1 drink per day for women or 2 drinks per day for men. And what you also need to remember is you can't save that number for Saturday, right? You can't have all your 2 drinks on Saturday. It doesn't work that way. So it's 2 drinks per day or 1 drink per day for women and men. So those are the components of the Mediterranean diet. And I think if you can try to incorporate each row into your diet, you're going to boost your overall Mediterranean diet score. A little bit more that I wanted to share about the Mediterranean diet is that there's really good research supporting the health benefits of this diet. In a prospective study of patients with newly diagnosed diabetes, they decided to have one group follow the Mediterranean diet and the control group follow just a traditional low-fat diet as recommended by the American Heart Association. After 4 years on this diet, or in this study, 44% of those in the Mediterranean diet group required medication, whereas 70% of the control group required medication for their diabetes. So I think it shows the benefits of this healthy diet. Now let's talk a little bit more about other important things to consider when it comes to nutrition. On this slide, it talks about nutrient density. And what does that mean? What is that concept, nutrient density? So nutrient-dense foods are those that have a lot of nutrition, so vitamins, minerals, fiber, protein, a lot of healthy aspects without a lot of calories. And so I like this diagram here because it shows how we can have a nutrient-dense food as compared to sort of the typical less nutrient-dense option. So we can start to make these shifts throughout our day, and those small changes can add up over time to really make an overall much more healthy diet. So you can see some examples, not the frosted cereal, or choosing plain yogurt and adding your own fruit. Watching out for the sodium in your canned beans, which we've definitely talked about in previous videos. So check out these options and think about ways that you can change the nutrient density of what you're consuming. And then this graphic gives you an idea of how to look at a meal and alter that nutrient density. So in the typical burrito bowl on the left, you can see white rice as the first option. So how do we change that? How do we make it more nutrient dense? We can switch to brown rice and also cut back on the portion of rice and add greens. So now we've improved that nutrient density. We can choose lower sodium canned beans. We can, instead of using guacamole, which is more processed and probably has more salt, we can just use avocado. So this slide gives you a lot of examples of small changes that you can make in your diet to improve the overall nutritional quality and nutrient density of the meal. And then lastly, just to summarize, these are really the foods to focus on. It's just like I've gone through with the Mediterranean diet. This is what we want to be choosing as much as possible. So these are foods for health. So again, carbohydrates with fiber. Fiber is beneficial for managing blood sugar. It helps manage cholesterol. And these are the foods that provide lots of good fiber. Remember, fiber only comes from plant foods. We can't get it from any animal foods. So you can see beans and legumes, whole grains, fruits and veggies. Those are the great options of carbohydrates with fiber. And then those heart-healthy fats, olive oil, avocado, any nuts or nut butters, and then the omega-3 fats like flax, chia, nuts, and fish. So all of these things are great to include in your diet to make an overall much more healthy diet that will keep you avoiding chronic disease lifelong. So thank you for your attention.